There's a reputation that narcissistic men are secretly GAY, on the DL. Now, sometimes this can turn out to be true. Sometimes you catch them, sometimes there's obvious tells. But more often than not, at the very least, male narcissists are psychologically GAY. They are psychologically oriented towards male validation and male approval instead of emotional intimacy with women. See, male narcissists don't respect femininity. They equate femininity to a lack of power, weakness, and naivete. And here's why. Because their own softness was punished. They were abused emotionally or psychologically by another narcissist that taught them that softness, creativity, kindness, sensitivity, and warmth were weakness. And so they internalized that worldview and now project it outward. So when they encounter traits that are often associated to femininity, which are not weaknesses, they're femininity, which healthy men are naturally drawn to, they don't see you. They see the parts of themselves that they've disowned or have been stomped out of them. That recognition triggers shame. And instead of dealing with it internally, they project it outward. And so they look at you as if you're shameful. If you're expressing feminine coded behaviors or emotions, if you're bubbly, playful, you're annoying. If you're high energy, expressive, energetic, you're too much, you're weird. If you let your guard down and show warmth, you're naive, you're too soft. And they punish you for it. But they're not talking to you. They're talking to the version of themselves they were never allowed to be. If you notice, these men never behave in any other way outside of stoic, nonchalant, unreadable, and hard. Why? Because they can't afford to. If they spend even just a little bit of that stoic, hard, nonchalant, unreadable persona in order to be authentic, there isn't much more strength and confidence where that came from. A truly confident, healthy, masculine man, an alpha, can afford to be soft, can afford to be a gentleman, can afford to open up, be expressive, share his emotions, even cry. Why? Because there's more real confidence and strength where that came from. A rich person can afford to spend because there's more money behind it. A broke person hoards. They're tight, stingy, fearful. Narcissistic men are fearful, inferiority driven, resentful, self-hating. They can't afford a moment of softness. So they have to cling to stoicism, detachment, nonchalance, and indifference because there's nothing more behind it. And because they hate and resent feminine-coded behaviors, they can come to respect and revere hypermasculine-coded behaviors. And when left unchecked, that can calcify into toxic masculinity. And that can also extend into attraction towards other men. And you'll notice how they constantly pine and seek the validation and approval from the men they admire. You'll see them in group settings when they speak or show out. They'll scan the room for reactions, validation, confirmation. Their self-worth, their sense of fulfillment, their self-esteem lies in the hands of the men they admire and revere. On the other hand, they do not care what women think. Women are side characters to them, or either props, status symbols, or even beards. They place women in very low regards because women represent to them everything they disowned, buried, or got shamed out of them. And when they use a woman as a beard, resentment follows. And it's not resentment towards the woman, although they'll feel like it is. Subconsciously, it's resentment towards themselves. They're angry at their own fear, at their own dishonesty, at their own lack of courage to live openly and truthfully.